What if I told you that today, nearly 2 billion people could still be living under a single empire? Imagine opening a world map and seeing one color stretching across Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, and Oceania. India, Canada, Australia, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, all ruled by one government. No independent India, no independent Australia, no independent Canada. Instead, one giant superpower that controls almost every major ocean, dominates global trade, and rivals every nation on Earth. Would the world be richer, safer, and more advanced? Or would billions still be fighting for their freedom? Today we're exploring one of history's most fascinating alternate realities. What if the British Empire still existed? For more than 3 centuries, the British Empire expanded across the globe. At its height in 1920, it ruled over nearly a quarter of Earth's land and population. People famously said, "The sun never sets on the British Empire," because somewhere in its vast territories, it was always daytime. But after World War II, everything changed. Economic hardship, rising nationalism, and independence movements caused colony after colony to break away. By the late 20th century, the empire had largely disappeared. But what if history had taken a different path? What if Britain had managed to hold its empire together and transform it into a powerful global union instead of watching it fall apart? Let's find out. Everything begins in 1945. World War II has ended, but Britain makes a bold decision. Instead of slowly giving independence to its colonies, it launches a massive plan to rebuild the empire together. The United States provides generous financial aid, not just to Britain, but to the entire empire. Railways, factories, ports, and universities are modernized across Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. At the same time, Britain introduces democratic reforms. Colonies elect representatives to a new imperial parliament in London. Every major region has a voice in government while keeping local leaders. People begin to see the empire less as a collection of colonies and more as a federation of nations working together. The empire doesn't disappear, it evolves. The biggest difference is India. Instead of becoming independent in 1947, India remains part of the empire as its largest and most influential member. Without partition, millions of lives that were lost during the division of India and Pakistan might be saved. Cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata become global political capitals alongside London. Indian scientists, entrepreneurs, soldiers, and politicians play a major role in shaping imperial policies. Soon, the empire is no longer simply British in identity. It becomes multicultural, multilingual, and home to billions of people from every corner of the world. Power is no longer concentrated in London alone. It is shared across continents. Now imagine combining the economic strength of Britain, India, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa, Nigeria, and dozens of other territories. The result would be one of the largest economies in human history. Its navy would control key shipping routes across the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. Its military bases would span every continent. Its universities would attract the world's brightest minds. Its industries would dominate finance, technology, medicine, aerospace, and manufacturing. Instead of one global superpower, the world would have 2 giants, the United States and the British Empire, constantly competing for influence. Every major international decision would require the empire's approval. Supporters of this alternate empire argue that many regional wars might never happen. If former colonies remained united, conflicts between neighboring nations could be reduced. Trade would become easier. Citizens could travel freely throughout the empire. One legal system, one currency, and one common market might create enormous economic growth. But there is another side to this story. Many independence movements fought because people wanted the right to rule themselves. If Britain refused independence, resistance would continue. Large protests, civil disobedience, armed rebellions. Maintaining such a massive empire would require constant political compromise and sometimes military force. Peace would never be guaranteed. A united empire would become one of history's greatest innovation networks. Scientists in London collaborate with engineers in Bangalore. Medical researchers in Toronto work with experts in Singapore. Universities across Australia and South Africa share discoveries instantly. The empire invests heavily in artificial intelligence, renewable energy, space exploration, and advanced transportation. English becomes even more dominant than it is today. Cricket rivals football as the world's biggest sport. The British royal family becomes the most recognized institution on Earth. A single imperial passport allows citizens to travel across multiple continents with ease. The world becomes more connected, but also more centralized than ever before. So, would a surviving British Empire have created the greatest civilization in history, or would it simply have delayed the freedom of millions of people? Perhaps it would have brought economic growth, technological progress, and global stability. But history reminds us of one important truth. No matter how powerful an empire becomes, people will always seek the right to decide their own future. And that may be the reason every great empire, from Rome to Britain, eventually fades. Now it's your turn. If the British Empire still existed today, would you choose to live under it? Or would you fight for independence? Let us know your answer in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible What If? Stories that explore the history that never happened.